don't miss out on the opportunity to use... Ready? Let's see if we can still make it to CC. What do you think? It'll be a little late. We had to run to the dealership this morning to run an errand because this is life, you know? And it was one of those like more like time sensitive sort of things. But I thought today was a good day because I just realized something in my parenting arsenal that I want to encourage more parents to lean into. And it's the car ride. It is one of the best built-in times in the day to build a great relationship with your kids. This is how I maximize this aspect of the day to build memories and to make a positive impact in my kids' lives. So first and foremost, I have to say, for any of this to really be effective and for it to work, you have to minimize the temptation to put a screen in front of them. If we want to build relationships with our kids, we have to be the ones talking to them and not pushing off that responsibility to a content creator who's geared towards kids, or an app, or a conglomerate that makes kids movies. We have to be the ones to talk to our kids. So before I even go deep into this list, which you're gonna want to stay all the way to the end too, just to hear what I'm saying from my own kids in a conversation I had with them, you're really gonna need to put away the screen. So first things first, car ride times are a great time to introduce books. No, it's not the kind that requires you to read it yourself. I'm talking about audiobooks, you guys. Audiobooks are like, I say like, that is one of our media family friends in our family that we adore. We recently just took a long road trip and we got to finish one of the Little House books, and that is one of my favorite series ever. Like, the Lord has used it to minister to us in a sense during transitions of buying and selling a house, which if you know anything about that, then you know it is not fun. It's really like building our hearts for the establishment of the home. It is just such a good book. You just gotta read it and thank me later. Like, honestly, that's really what it comes down to. But don't miss out on the opportunity to use car rides for audiobooks. Like, after I get off this video, I'm gonna queue up the next audiobook, or if you want to start with shorter form content, which has its beauty and its perk, and I'm just saying shorter form in relation to a full book, then I definitely recommend a good podcast. Our family loves and has listened to God's Big Story, I think that's from the Village Church. We've also listened to the Indescribable Kids podcast, which goes along with those with the Indescribable Kids devotionals, which are so good. I like literally love them, and we'll probably have to loop them back in because we went through 2 of them. I think there are 3 in total. So audiobooks, podcasts, thank me later. Second one, which I cannot underscore enough, and probably is my favorite thing, and the only reason I didn't list it first is because sometimes I think that the audiobooks and podcasts can offer great fertilizer for what I'm gonna list next, are conversations. Car rides are the best time for conversations because we all have nothing to do but sit in the car and drive. So I think it's a really great way of building a relationship with your kids. Avoid the temptation sometimes to put on a distraction and just lean into the silence and the conversations that happen as a result. I think audiobooks are a great way of giving like fodder for the fire of conversations. So that's why I personally like them. But it is a great time to check in with your kids and just to see how they're doing. Recently, we visited some family and we had the chance to watch a theatric recording of Peter Pan. So that was a good time to kind of like loop back into those conversations that had themes like, you know, upon deeper thinking, I was like, is that really like something we wanted to encourage? And I'll even drop a clip of what that conversation sounded like. So I know that we recently watched Peter Pan with Papa and Nana. What were your thoughts? Did you like it? You can be honest, be honest. You thought it was cool? who do you think some of the big heroes in the story were for you? You thought Peter Pan was a big hero? What about at the end when he decided he doesn't want to grow up? Do you think that that's wise or good? What if Daddy and I decided we were just going to stay kids forever? I wouldn't be able to drink wine. Other than that, what else would be different? Well, we wouldn't have kids, would we? We wouldn't take care of you guys if we did. We wouldn't work, so who knows where we'd be living, right? So while Peter Pan was cool, there were also some things in the story that were maybe not necessarily true or wise and good. I think it was a really cool conversation. Some people would be surprised that I'm having this conversation with kids that are like 6 and under. But I think the thing is like we tend to underestimate what our children, oh boy, that's a lot of traffic. You guys, I don't know if we're gonna make it to CC. Yeah, I think there's a tendency to underestimate how rich conversations with our kids can be. And this is where I definitely lean into Charlotte Mason sort of model of homeschooling. I'd say I'm a mix between like Charlotte Mason and classical education. We're literally on our way to CC. Don't miss out on the opportunities to have really great conversations with your kids. We followed up on like a movie and talked about some of the themes that we noticed in those movies, and it was just really cool conversation and a really great way to put a light on maybe some of the things that Hollywood might try to make normal or make good, even in the old stuff, y'all, that are just not good. And so it's a great opportunity to follow up on those kinds of things. Now, this is critical. I think that parents miss out on the opportunity to use the car ride for instruction. It is way too easy to like be running and going through the chaos that is life with little kids. Get in the car ride, we feel frazzled, and so we just are kind of like existing and just trying to get to our destination. And if we're not careful, we can miss the opportunity to use car rides as an opportunity for instruction. So this is one that I 100% get from my mom. Before we went into any store, she set the expectation for what my behavior ought to look like. And she even also laid out the consequence should I choose not to follow through with that instruction. And while, wow, this is a lot of traffic. I'm wondering if we're gonna make it to CC, you guys. It's just, oh my goodness. Sheesh. By the time we get to CC, it's gonna be time to leave. So with that being said, don't miss out on the opportunity to lay the groundwork for instruction, especially like if you know you're going to a place that your kid often has a hard time transitioning. The car ride before is a great time to make sure that you are talking about what the expectation is. Now, putting on my ABA hat for a second, my applied behavioral analysis hat, and previous work that I've done, kids do better when they know what the expectation for their time is. If you tell them ahead of time, you're going to the library, hey guys, we're going to the library today. Remember, when we go into the library, we have to use our inside voices. We don't pull all the books off the shelf at the same time. You gotta make sure you're listening to mommy. Remember, we hold mommy's hands as we cross the road. Like, those are great times that we can miss if we're not careful, because we're kind of like a touch frazzled from the whole car ride experience to begin with. And with a little bit of intentionality, we can use those car rides to not only build great relationships with our kids, but part of that great relationship building is also then setting expectations and helping our children to be obedient to what we're doing and our parental instruction and authority. Another really great way to use the car ride is to use it for games. Yes, games. A couple of the games that we like to play in the car is like the ABC game, and that's literally like we start at the letter A and we have to find letters or signs that start with A, and then moving on to B, C, D, TV, etc. If you really like are moving far and you're on the highway for a long time, you might switch to doing it with tags on cars, like license plates. We also like to use the car ride to like bolster up some of those things that we're working on at home. So if there's any vocab, then we're playing the spelling game, and things like that. So don't miss out on the opportunity to use the car ride to bolster some of those academic skills that we may not necessarily even think are academic skills. Like, let's see how many yellow cars we can count. Let's see how many purple cars we can count, right? Because that's a lower number, so maybe you might do something like that because there's not as many purple cars on the road. Let's see how many construction vehicles we can count, or how many tractor trailer trucks we can count, or how many flatbed trucks we can count. Let's see if we see any construction vehicles. In addition to building memories and strengthening your relationship with your child, it also just makes it so that the car ride is fun, and you're circling back on those educational things in ways that don't feel like a lesson, you know? Another way to utilize your car ride is to treat it like a watering hole. So sometimes we're just running late and we don't have time to eat before we get out the house, but you gotta feed the kids. Use that car ride as a time to feed them good, nutritious food. Avoid the temptation to buy empty snacks. You guys, we literally just throw our snacks into our into like jars that we've had, glass jars that we've had. And that is what I use. I don't buy Ziploc bags for snacks. I don't, you know, I've seen the silicone ones. I just haven't gotten to them, but I have a lot of jars because I save good glass jars. And so, you know, throw some carrots, some oranges, some nuts into a glass jar and pack it up in their lunchbox and have them eat in the car, so that if you're running late and you know the kids need to eat, it helps you avoid a tantrum. Just give them some food in the car and use it as an opportunity to put good stuff in them as well. I feel like every parent everywhere knows now to travel with your kids' water bottle, so that's already unlocked. You might as well just add the rest of the snacks or the food in there with it. Probably one of the most fun things that we've done as a family, which has really built a love around this, is use car rides as an opportunity to introduce classical music. The fire truck just passed, which means that is why traffic is going slow. Yeah, use the car ride as an opportunity to introduce classical music. Y'all, we love us some classical music or some orchestral music. A really cool way of building like that bone and increasing our little ones' love for orchestral music is by introducing them to film scores. We love the Pirates of the Caribbean film score by Hans Zimmer. Which one is it specifically, boys, that we like? Pirates of the Caribbean, the Dead Man's Chest film score. We have been intentionally putting like classical and orchestral music before the kids, also as a motivation to encourage young learners, or not just young learners, but new learners to have a love for the music, especially if you're thinking about starting them in a sort of classical instrument. Hearing it played in such an immersive and beautiful way. You know, take advantage of your audio in your car. Like, it is such a fantastic experience. Like, literally the organ playing in Dead Man's Chest, it is literally the best. So anyway, these are some of the ways to build healthy, awesome relationships with your kids that requires zero extra effort, because you are already in that car and you're already on your way. And if you like this video, then you might like this one.